Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your hosts from Columbus, Ohio and Westfield, Massachusetts are Michael Kirk and Nathan Wagner. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Super Show. And we're going to have a special episode for you today, folks. Unfortunately, my partner, Nathan Wagner, will not be here today. There has been sort of a last-minute emergency for this particular episode. But I am joined by two gentlemen from, at least from my perspective, the Great White North. From DCW, David Schmidt and Anthony Haapapuro. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let me start, because I know this has been something I've been wondering, although I'm pretty sure I know the answer to it. What does DCW stand for?
DCW is Downriver Championship Wrestling. It was just a name that I've had in my head for a while, kicked it around with a couple of friends, and it's easy to chant, because we're supposed to be living the ultimate wrestling fantasy. So DCW, easy to chant, sounds good, rolls off the tongue.
Okay, so why Downriver? Is where you're located down a river?
Yeah, Michigan has this weird iconography of if you live south of a certain point, you're considered downriver, and I live about 15 minutes from the Ohio border, so I'm very much downriver.
Okay. All right. So you guys, I'm having you on because I'd like to basically highlight your event coming up. So in just 6 days from today, DCW is presenting Downriver Beat Down. So how did Downriver Beat Down come about?
Pi, you want to take that one?
Well, after Olmsted?
Yeah, we went to Olmsted for recess.
Yeah, we went to their create a competitor, and Anthony's all like, "Hey, this is awesome. Let's try to get something going in our backyard." So we kind of canned around for a couple months, and then he's like, "Let's just go. Let's do it." No, then we just kind of threw around some names, try to kind of play off some of the old WWF names, or however you recognize it nowadays. And I was like, "Hey, let's just do Downriver Beat Down," because Downriver has kind of a connotation to be a little bit more rougher around the edges than any other place in Michigan. So it kind of goes off the that kind of.
Yeah, like he said, we went to recess and we had so much fun, and I realized we don't really have anything down in our area. So I decided that I wanted to host something, and I wanted to bring my best friend in to help me, which is why we're co-GMs of the event. And he came up with the name. I had come up with a bunch of New Japan style names, or even farther back to the old ECW names, but he gave me Downriver Beat Down, and it stuck. And there was no getting rid of that name. It was too good.
All right.
Yeah.
So you guys mentioned a couple times now going to the recess games, Rust Belt, the Create a Competitor event back in April.
Mm-hmm.
Was that sort of the first big event you guys have been to?
Yeah, that was actually, I was about 2 months into the game at that point, and I was like, "Hey, this seems like a cool thing to do. A nice little day trip to Ohio," and kind of it's like, "Hey, Anthony, I know you brought me into the game, so let's go do it."
Yeah, like he said, I got him into the game, and I had never gone to any kind of event. So he took me down to recess. That was my first event outside of my circle of friends, and it was the most fun I had ever had playing this game.
Well, that's great. So obviously, I just heard David say that you, Anthony, got him in the game. How did you get in?
So I got into the game because I was an old Raw Deal guy, like a lot of us probably were. I played a ton of Raw Deal, and I was Googling around trying to find a new wrestling game to find, and I found Super Show back during the second Kickstarter. I think it was with Sage, Chamomile. That was the first box that I bought, was Sage Chamomile. And from there, it was off to the races. I ordered that, and then I think I ordered about 10 more decks with independent competitors and was basically shoving it in my friends' faces saying, hey, you don't have to buy booster packs. You don't have to do anything. I have the decks. Let's just sit down. Let's tell some cool stories and let's play a really cool game. And the rest is now history. I'm way into this game. I'm way in debt because of this game, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
So you've been in what for like 3 years then?
Yeah, it would be about 3 years. The second Kickstarter, the third, and now the Uprising. Just this, the Gathering.
Oh, the Gathering was so good.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, you guys were both at the Gathering.
Yes.
How? I've got your opinion on that. What do you guys think?
Going next year. It's like once they put it up, I am slamming the money down, and we are going.
The Gathering reaffirmed my love for this game because I was going through some real rough stuff before the Gathering, and I've never had a community like reach out to check like if I'm good. They came up to me, asked if I'm okay, if they could do anything. And it was just a 3-day party for the greatest game in the world with some of the greatest people I know now. It was the best.
Yeah, just having a nonstop party where you can just like slam cards, talk with friends that you've only met online, and seeing a bunch of faces behind the actual competitors. Like me and Anthony got there on a Friday and saw Pretty Boy Snow, and we started talking, and all of a sudden we got on the subject of Gia, and all of a sudden the guy next to him was all like smiling and whatnot, and turned out it was the Man from Tomorrow, like my favorite person in this game. And I kind of marked out a little bit, so
Only a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah,
you said we could have gone home. You said we could have left right then and there.
Yeah, true. Fair enough.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. The Man from Tomorrow, he intended on showing up at the Grand Gathering, swerving everybody. Of course, he'll be at Gen Con coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So are either of you going to be able to make it to Gen Con?
I will not, unfortunately.
I am trying like mad to get there.
Well, I hope you. I finally secured enough people in my room, which I need to let John Sure know. So.
Oh, loudmouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun room.
Oh, he won't be in there, but he helped me have fun. So, shout out to the man from upstate New York, the Origins 2019 World Champion for helping out the Mudcast. At least one half of the Mudcast. So let's talk a little bit about Downriver Beat Down.
The meat and potatoes.
That's right. So, Downriver Beat Down is going to be July 13th, a 1 p.m. start time.
We're hoping for a 1 p.m. start time. That way we can get through the CAC, get all the, I guess we'd call them the undercard matches through. And then we're hoping that people will want to stick around after the event because Fight for the Fallen's going to be showing. And we could all sit together, watch it.
Sling more cards after the slinging
Sling more cards, you're right.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the undercard. What is on the undercard as of right now?
So right now, the only matches I can confirm are we have David Schmidt versus Corey Pitney for the Rust Belt Championship, which should be a really good match as they're both Michigan boys. Well, I guess Corey defected.
The Corey's with the big signing at the Rust Belt.
Yeah, they signed to Rust Belt last week, which was a big thing. That should be a good match. We've got history with the Coreys, good people. We also have are they all Ohio still, or are they now all Michigan? Like, what happened with the tag belts?
Well, I think it's still the all Ohio belt. I don't think the name actually changed, but I think Brian is doing some modifications to the belt to make it the all
Some
Michigan.
Slight modifications only.
If people have been following the posts on the SRG discussion group.
So we've got the all Ohio tag belts being defended. The director has not informed me who will be taking that challenge, but there have been many names thrown into the hat.
My favorite is Booker and Sean.
Gosh, the Booker Alliance.
No, the book collector.
The
Since
book
Sean
collector, right?
is the mask collector, which he successfully did at Origins, and Booker is just Booker.
So we've got that. Then we also have Damian Thorne versus Corey Robert in a strikes match, which came about at our local event that they decided that they needed to have it out with one another. So I put him in a strike match. But otherwise, we still have a lot of stuff we're kicking around. I've got some stuff up my sleeve that I'm gonna start spoon feeding out.
Yeah. All right, so let me talk about the strike match because that's intriguing. What is a strikes match? What are the rules of a strikes match?
A strike match, we'll just cut it right to the chase. It's going to be the submission rule set, but we're going to change it to strikes instead of submission.
Okay.
So it would be the quintessential, like your kendo stick on a pole type match. If you're looking at like the pros, but submission matches, they've been done. Why not get some strikes in there? Just get your aggression out there and just start hitting people as hard as you can.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to throw up a grudge match or something at the event, we can probably be able to accommodate that as
We
well.
should easily be able to make it work.
So that is the current undercard as it stands.
Yeah, for right now, I've got something that I'm kicking around. I'm kicking the can down the street to see if I am. I guess the word would be crazy enough to put this match on the undercard.
You are pretty crazy anyway, so.
Hey.
Okay. So potentially surprise match on the undercard. Watch for that in the next.
Oh, there is one more. I forgot all about it. There is one more that I just announced yesterday. We have James Hand versus the Ripper, Michael McDonald, in a 30-minute Iron Man match.
All right, so what are going to be the rules of a 30-minute Iron Man?
So we actually tried this out at our most recent pay-per-view, and it actually worked somewhat well. There's a couple kinks that we need to work out on timings, but, essentially you take a phone, set it to 30 minutes, hit start, and then you just play Super Show straight on. It's just normal crowd meter. After each pinfall, you take a certain number of cards out from your graveyard or your discard pile in your hand, shuffle it back into your deck, and start a new game. And as the crowd meter goes up, you're shuffling less cards back into your deck, so you that's kind of working into the fatigue aspect of it. And then once the timer is up, if it's currently in a draw situation, you go max crowd meter, main event. So you kind of just ramp it right up, and someone's going to be winning pretty quick after the timer expires.
Okay, so let me just get straight. So you starts off essentially like any other game Super Show.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, somebody will hit the first fall. When that happens, the players will keep playing. They'll basically shuffle from the discard pile. They'll shuffle certain cards back in their deck. Does it start over with a brand new crowd meter 0 game?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Crowd meter goes up.
So crowd meter goes up. It doesn't stay. Static actually goes up.
Yeah. The formula I used was you take your hand and 10 minus crowd meter times 3. So, after you do the first pinfall, you're shuffling your hand plus, I think it was 10 cards or, 7 cards from your discard pile into your deck. And then you draw 3 cards, like you're starting a game off again. I think we did not allow entrances or spectacles because
we didn't allow those.
Yeah, cause it's just enough to kind of manage our ready.
Okay.
And the crowd meter only goes up to a max of 3 because after that it starts getting kind of weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say because
3 was a good number.
Okay. So, like, if it's crowd meter 1, there's a fall. I would shuffle back 27 cards.
No, you shuffle your hand and 7 cards from your discard pile.
Okay, because I thought you said I'd shuffle back.
It's
crowd
10
meter minus that times 3.
No, it's 10 minus crowd meter times 3.
Oh, okay. So the crowd meter. So if it's crowd meter 1, I multiply the crowd meter times 3, and then I subtract that from 10.
Yeah.
And that's how. Okay.
Yeah. It was a formula just kind of like, you should be getting some cards back to make the game kind of keep going instead of going into, bury, go, bury, go, bury, go.
No, I understand that. And so there is a sudden death where essentially it's tied at the end of the. You switch to main event rules.
Yeah, you switch to main event crowd meter 5 or 6, whatever, where it says like all finishers or follow ups, +4 to finish rules or whatever it is. That way you get a quick winner instead of keeping it at crowd meter 3 and then having the game go an extra like 15, 30 minutes while you're slapping it out.
So no, there will be no draws.
Oh no.
Your version.
If you can figure out like a storyline to get a draw going and kind of like want to work that into your local event, cool. But if you're doing it for like championships or just like whatever, you kind of want to get a winner going.
Well, we will post the rules for it on the event page.
Yeah, I've already posted the our preliminary rules on the discussion group, and I've gotten no straight feedback, but we have still been kind of kicking it out and kind of tuning it up a little bit. So hopefully this second round of Iron Man goes pretty well.
I look forward to seeing that because at these events there tends to be a lot of things going on, a lot of simultaneous play, which is great. Makes it really high.
Yeah.
So,
good.
Go ahead. No. Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say one of the main modifications that came up was since since one person left to get the first fall, they can kind of slow play a little bit. We were kicking the idea of maybe using like a chess style timer, where if your timer runs out, if the opponent has a certain amount of time left on their clock, depending on how long you put the match, like they get awarded the final fall because you just kind of like wasted all the time. And then at that point, you check for ties, and then go to the main event meter if it's tied. But like I said, it's still something we're kind of like fine tuning, but we're getting there.
So in the chess timer scenario, if you said that, is it essentially how much of a time differential would you want to do before you did the final fall?
I was thinking maybe like anywhere between 3 minutes to 5 minutes, because if the other player's got 3 minutes on you, you're either slow playing or winning all the turn rolls. And it kind of feels bad if you're not playing as much. But if you're if that person that's been spending all those extra time getting all those getting all the turns, if they're up by 2 falls, it's not going to matter because they've already proven that they've been actually playing the game and not wasting the timer.
Okay, so the timer is more of an official's tool to sort of determine whether or not you think there's been slow play.
Yeah.
Okay. It also helps when we do it. We usually have a big crowd watching, and sometimes you might notice, like when we did the first Iron Man match, the other competitor was like taking a long time, rifling his hand, rifling his discard, picking up one card, then going, I don't know, picking up this card, going, I don't know. And it was borderline deliberately slow playing, but I understand it's high stress, it's high tension. But if you have multiple parties at the table watching the match, you can kind of group consensus decide like, hey, what's going on? Do we need to introduce like a play clock? Do you have like 30 seconds per turn rule to figure out what you're going to do? That kind of thing. This is still a very beta match type. Like we're really trying to refine it and make it something that others want to use, because Iron Man matches in real wrestling are they're usually incredible spectacles. They're good, they're fun to watch, they're tense, and we want to kind of capture that drama, but at the same time it needs to be playable. So it's just a lot of like play it, see what works, so on and so forth. And the two guys that we have in the Iron Man match are both they're good players of the game. The storyline for this is great. So it should capture all of that drama in one match.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're actually working on a. We have another match type that's kind of in the pipeline as well that we're actually probably gonna be testing out today as well. So maybe we be introducing something else to the LFF in a hot bit.
Are you able to say what that is, or are you close to the vest
Uh,
right
well, it's a pseudo take on the Survivor Series format.
now? Okay. So how many players would be in the match?
It's a 1v1.
Okay.
The current shell is just you have 4 or 5 competitors aside.
Oh,
Uh, if
okay.
you win a turn roll, you get to choose who your active competitor is at that point. And if you have any skill cards in your deck, only competitors that can use them is the only time they can be played. So, like, if you have a 7 seals and your active competitor has a 5 power, you can't play 7 seals on that turn.
So, a couple questions about the format. This is another. So, when you if I choose an active player on my turn, is that the player active then until I choose again?
Yeah, every time you win a turn roll, you can choose to keep
Okay.
them active or quote unquote tag out.
And you're deciding to do that with 5?
No, I'm saying that the rule. I was just giving like a skill card example.
No. I meant you have 5. Each player has
Oh,
5 competitors.
oh yeah.
Has a pool. Okay.
If 4 or
And
5,
then
we don't know how the balance is going to work out yet.
okay. And then my final question is, how does that work with finishes?
That is the top pin of our list.
So
My
I was about
current
to say,
thought was you start with any competitor's finishers in the deck. Just that way you have a 30 card deck and there's no like marked cards of proxies or whatever. Whenever you would play a finisher, you can swap that finisher with whoever the active competitor is at that time. For the purposes of spotlight cards and whatnot, we're kicking the idea that just all finishers are blank in the graveyard, or sorry, the discard pile. But we're gonna be kind of working out some kinks on that hopefully in the next few weeks.
Sounds. And I find that very intriguing. So I'm interested to see how that works out.
Yeah, so are we.
All right, so let's get back. We'll get back. Question about the event coming up. One of the other things I've noticed about the event, there are bounties that have been issued for the event. So, what can you tell us about the bounty?
the bounties. Oh, my favorite thing to talk about, the bounties. So I've hosted 2 bounties personally. I hosted the SRG boss bounty because I keep hearing that the boss isn't a good character, and I think people are crazy. Not only is the boss the Tri-State champion, I think the gimmick of having 2 extra entrance cards is insane, and you can get some really, really disgusting synergies and combos going with it. So I talked to the boss, and he said it was a cool idea, so I decided to run with it. So I'm hosting a bounty for making the top cut with the boss. It's going to be a small cash prize, nothing crazy, nothing that's going to break my wallet too hard. And then I decided to do something. I don't think I've ever seen a tournament do something on this scale, but if you win with Trent, I am personally giving up my autographed Trent Distracts the Ref spectacle card. And that's kind of near and dear to my heart because Trent was one of the first decks I ever made. And Trent has been out of print for a while. And funny story, Trent doesn't even remember signing whatever to be in Super Show. So when he signed all my stuff, he's like, I don't have any idea what any of this is. I don't remember any of this. And he laughed and signed everything and just kind of shrugged in that kind of Luffy way that Trent kind of carries himself. But if somebody wins the Create a Competitor using Trent, they will get my autographed Distracts the Ref. And then the Coven reached out and posted the Coven bounty, where if you are the most winningest player using a Coven character, you will get a full set of the Coven's characters, including an alternate artwork that I have no idea what it even is.
Yeah,
I was just told.
I think it's just an alt art that might be premiering sometime in the near future.
But you'd get something unique and 4 new competitors, which you could use then to play it forward if you already have them.
Absolutely.
And it costs you nothing extra.
Do you know who the alt art is for? Even if you don't know what it looks like. No.
I do not know. I was just told there will be an alternate artwork for a member of the Coven.
Yeah, if I am thinking correctly, don't quote me because I have no idea. I think it's for Rhaegar, because since he just came out and some of the new competitors have been coming out with alternate arts like Mike Riot. So I don't know if the stats are going to be different like Mike Riot's are or not, but
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. I just know that they reached out and the Coven wanted to post this bounty, and I was more than happy to put it on the board.
Yeah, we'll leave that to the Coven to reveal when that time comes.
And finally, there are going to be, in addition to basically winning the opportunity to create your own competitor, just for registering, signing up, you are going to be able to win promo card. So
for signing up for the event, we have a 4 promo pack, just like Recess did, just like Impact did, and I am in love with these cards. Not because I'm on the entrance card with David, but it's kind of cool to, get your hands in the proverbial, in the stuff and help shape cards for the game. You never get that in other gaming experiences. So it was super cool to work with them. And I did the strike finisher, which we haven't spoiled yet. We're saving the best for last. That one was my baby. I did all of that. I picked the art. I picked what it's gonna do. Oh man,
I don't know, man. I think our sub finisher is on a level, if not higher. Like they're both really good.
I can't believe the sub finisher is that. I still am in disbelief.
Right, and it's just it goes to show what a kind of a process it's been, because some of these cards did not start out the way we originally intended them. Like our entrance card was supposed to be something about adding to finisher rolls or drawing cards and helping break out. It kind of had a 2-mode thing to it, but then over the course of a couple weeks, it kind of got knocked to what it is now, where after you hit a finisher, if you have a follow-up in play, your opponent discards 1.
That's really strong.
Which after talking to Steve, we found out that effect happens afterwards. So you resolve the finisher card, and then your opponent discards. So there are a couple of broken synergies right now with that.
I am sorry that I didn't put EC3 on the injured list. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think it'll be fine. What do you want of great competitors out there right now? It's if people want to run EC3, let them run EC3. There's enough meat in the field where I think we're not going to have that issue.
Yeah, I just can't believe that happened. The grapple finisher so in Olmsted this last Sunday at the Recess monthly event, I played King Greatness and did a lot of work with Super Kick over the top, which is the finisher that if the crowd meter is level 4 or higher, it counts as a follow-up. The grapple finisher is that same thing. It's super face drop out of nowhere, I think is what it's actually called. Because they had to take flying out of the name.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. Why did they take... Do you know why they took flying out of it?
So Steve sent me the artwork for the card text for Super Flying Face Drop out of nowhere. And within 2 minutes, he went, okay, I have to change this because flying makes this card broken with Smiley and Venus. Sorry, I can't let that go. And I'm like, okay, I've never seen anybody play those anywhere around me, so I trust your judgment with the greater good.
Yeah.
I don't understand the... I've played Smiley. I don't understand what he's talking about, at least on the Smiley end.
Can't Smiley search it out because it has flying in the name?
Yeah, but there's already two finishes in the game that have flying in the name that are that he can go do that with.
Yeah, he just said, he reached out to me after showing it to me and went, I need to change it. And I said, okay, you're the boss. I trust your judgment on it. I had no strong feelings about it.
Yeah, I actually like it. The flying face drop just sounds better than super face drop.
I agree.
So
I agree, but that artwork, can we talk about that artwork for a hot second?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That artwork is one of my favorite pieces I've ever seen in the game, and it's not because we commissioned it, prefacing that right now, but I have a personal hatred that is seething like nobody's business for Ariel Lipstick. So to see Night Terror putting her in her place after she's trying to cut a promo makes me smile.
Is that Night Terror? I thought that was Stick.
No, that's Night Terror.
It's supposed to be Night Terror.
Okay.
So not only is he blanking the gimmick, he's putting her in the ground.
I'll have to look at a picture of Night Terror because I swear that looks like, at least the picture that's on the event right now looks like Stick.
Man, and Downriver Lock though. Let me just say that I'm super happy that we have Sheep Shooter at Tech now, because I play a lot of Tech characters and they seem to have 7 submission, so I can never run it.
Yeah, so this is for those who have not seen it, the finished submission's Downriver Lock. It's +1 to technique, +3 to your lowest skill. Add 1 card from your discard pile to your hand. You need a 8 or greater technique. It is a skill card to run it. It's essentially what other than the skill that gets a bonus. It's essentially the same text as a Sheep Shooter or I'm forgetting the Jackknife Powerbomb.
Jackknife Powerbomb, Frog Splash.
Frog Splash, that's right. That's right.
But yeah, the that was David's creation right there. That was his baby.
Yeah, you can tell because there's Gia on it.
Yeah, Gia. We were driving home from Olmsted, and he had already decided like that's gonna be a thing that exists, and I'm just glad we could get it done in such a fast fashion. And that card is great.
Yeah, I can see Downriver Lock, although I don't know if I would take more to lock out for Gia and put him Downriver.
See,
that's a tough one.
Yeah, like Mortalock, I have not liked it at all. I think Downriver, I'm currently using Sharpshooter actually in that slot, and I think Downriver Lock might replace that instantly. The fact that it gives her an 11 technique on her finish roll, and you can bring back like a stop or whatever.
You can get Chicken Wing back if it's in the bin.
Yeah.
Or Full Nelson.
Yeah, there's just a lot. That slot is really weird for her because I've just never enjoyed Mortalock whenever I played it. But I switched to because it just never seemed to like do much.
Man, I'm so excited for these cards to come out. Our entrance card changed so much, but I'm glad it exists. I'm glad to see a lot of entrance cards are coming out now, because for a while there it was kind of you ran champion a Kickstarter or you ran director. I want to say for the most part, at least in our local scene, it was director or champion.
Well, I mean, I think until director came out, it was pretty much it was Kickstarter, a championship card. If you had one, like if you happened to be the champ, or you're running either Be the Voice, live music by Philo, or
Chaos.
Yeah, I believe those were good. Literally,
yeah, the options were very limited
until this year. That was the option that we've had. Yeah, just thinking on now, we've had director of operations, accompanied by the combat clan, security provided by the Outback Protection Agency, backed by the Grand Machine.
Dude, can we talk about how good Grand Machine really is now?
Grand Machine's great. Grand Machine is such a good card. I love that card with, like, I play a lot of super aggro. I play super aggro because I play the game to play the game. I don't sit here to, like, pass roll. I want to throw cards. If you stop them, cool. I'm going to Grand Machine 3 of my best cards back into my deck, and you're going to deal with them again. Man, we had a lot of entrance cards this year. Not even touching on True Survivor from Impact.
No, hadn't touched on that. I just got that mail.
Or was it Melissa that we got?
Oh, Melissa Santos at the Gathering.
Yeah. Forgot about Melissa Santos.
Don't want to say anything bad about it, but I think that might be the weakest that has come out this year.
It's good in situational decks. Like I could see you running it with the boss.
Mm-hmm.
I see people running it with the hypnotist.
Hans Mesmer.
Hans Mesmer is such a good character. So for the listeners, I personally like characters that are quirky, that are more fun than I guess you would call the quote meta. And I say this as I play El Super Hombre and am the MWA champion with El Super Hombre, a decision I kind of regret. But I like playing characters that are just quirky and have fun gimmicks. Like Lily Mai was my first ever quote unquote tournament deck. And all her gimmick is you play suicide basically. And it's fun. At least that's the way I played her. I played her very, very aggro. I think I had 6 stops in the whole deck.
Yeah, that's pretty aggro. You only go 6 stops.
Well, her gimmick revolves around having, less stops in play than your opponent. So if I don't have stops, then I can't not have my gimmick on.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. So I heard you. So I know you talked about the artwork for the super face drop. Hashtag bring back flying out of nowhere.
I love it. Let's book it.
Petition.org. Let's do it.
Because I look at it. I'm like, okay, I know that. I think because I believe Venus's gimmick is when she rolls agility for a turn roll. Cards with flying they can't be stopped.
Let's find out real quick. I will pull it up while we're talking.
I believe that is the gimmick. Which I'm like, okay.
Yep. Venus's gimmick is if you roll agility, which is her 10, flying cannot be stopped for the turn. So it would be an unstoppable finish.
I can understand to a small degree, but again, this is a card with no bonuses.
Yeah, it's just a flat roll.
There's a flat roll. I mean, it's basically a card with blank text until you hit crowd meter 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why this would be unbalanced with those 2 characters, especially considering how good Top Rope Superplex is for. That's right, it's not flying. Top Rope Superplex is for Smiley.
Flying head drop or something? Or?
Flying headband drop. Venus can't run it, and I don't think Smiley
can run it. Yeah, there's a Top Rope flying elbow drop. That's a generic that I believe gives you like +2 to agility, +1 technique, something to that effect. That both of those
Top Rope flying elbow drop. You would run with Smiley.
Yeah, you could run that with Smiley or with Venus.
But in the 29 slot, in terms of flying, your options are.
Yeah, I don't think there are any options.
There are none.
But again, I wouldn't think like if somebody sat down with Smiley and it was or Venus and it was like I rolled a 10 and here's the flying face drop out of nowhere, I wouldn't be scared of that.
Yeah. And especially
and that's not to basically say that it's a bad card. I'm just saying, like, okay, someone plays that, I'm like, all right, I know that it's going to be basically turn roll plus crowd meter. If you roll this 10 and there's a crowd meter bonus, that one's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
I agree. Me and the boss talked about it back and forth at length.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately, he's looking out for the health of the game, and I respect that, and I have no problem with it. And maybe down the road they'll be like, okay, maybe we do have to put flying back on it, and then they'll like re-release it with flying in the name. I don't know. It's something that we need to get the card into players' hands and get it, percolating, see if anyone tries to make it work. Just like I had never seen anybody use Top Rope flying headband drop until the director won at Origins with it, and my jaw hit the floor.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that card's only been out since April.
At least like in our circle where we play, everybody had panned everything out of that pack besides director. And I thought they were crazy. I said you guys are crazy.
I think that I would disagree. I think Show of Force is a great card. I think Feeling Dangerous is a great card, especially if you're playing, Director of Operations or even somebody like Overdog, where you can have the extra cards in your hand. I think that's a great.
Yeah, I
Those
love.
are all. I like that whole idea of basically bump your hand size theme they went with, and then the rest of it. Yeah, I think all those cards are solid cards. I wouldn't think those were dogs at all.
I think they're great. I'm happy that they're seeing play. My friend, one of the guys we play with that I just got into the game actually, he plays TJ Marconi and he uses the entire pack except Top Rope Flying Headband Drop because Marconi's finishers are way too good to not be running all three of them.
Yeah.
Well, he runs the strike and the submission, and he runs Super Snap Power Bomb instead of the grapple because I don't think he had a grapple in the original.
No, he does. He has Total Recall.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't run Total Recall.
Yeah,
he runs.
I have an affection for TJ Marconi because the first kind of person I picked on my own to play at a big event, Pride Saturday, was TJ Marconi. And
I like Brainbuster more personally for like Marconi. I would rather run Brainbuster, but that's a different discussion for a different day.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what I ran. I know what I ran. I ran Death Drop.
Ooh.
Not originally, but later. I ran the Death Drop.
Which one?
I think it's not the one that doesn't copy the Filibuster.
So let's see. The black one is bury your opponent's discard pile. The rest of them are look at 4, take 1.
Look at 4, take.
Man, I could sit here and talk shop all day.
Because if you look at that the black one, and you look at the card, the Filibuster, the text is exactly the same. But yeah, because I was trying to, because I'm not a big fan of. I've played Total Recall. I'm not even played Total Recall the first time with, because I've played him since. But I know that I just never could get Total Recall to work. The situation never worked out with Total Recall. So I was like, let me play something that's going to be a little bit better that'll work on all the time. And Death Drop triggers his gimmick. You know, else would trigger his gimmick?
Super Flying Face Drop out of nowhere.
That is right. That is correct. That would trigger.
I can't call it Super Face Drop because I'm looking at it right now on my screen and it says Super Flying. So for the listeners, it is Super Face Drop. It is not Super Flying Face Drop.
But if you'd like to see the flying come back, just let SRG Universe know. Let Night Terror or Snake Pit, whoever's doing this move, let him fly. Let him fly. You know, sometimes you just gotta fly, like the Wright brothers or that monkey in that Matthew Broderick movie.
Oh man. So the only thing we haven't touched on is the one we're saving, the Shining Wizard. The artwork is out there. I have publicly said it's a Shining Wizard. It is a generic Shining Wizard because it is one of my favorite moves in all of strong style wrestling. It's simple, it's effective, it looks painful, and we didn't have a generic one. So when we were bouncing ideas around, I told Steve, I was like, I want to make a Shining Wizard because it's not fair that such a generic move is limited to, at the time, I think it was 2 characters. So I told Steve, I'm going to do a Shining Wizard, and he was like, thank you. Oh, thank you.
So it's actually going to be called
The Shining Wizard. Yes, okay. It is Shining Wizard.
The Shining Wizard, all right.
It is Shining Wizard. It is Lily Mai hitting the Immortal Warrior. Because I think it's kind of cool that we picked characters in the universe that we had gripes with. My first match at Recess was against Booker playing Immortal Warrior, and I didn't get to play the whole game.
Okay.
And then I think like round 6, I had another Immortal Warrior matchup, so I was just like, okay. It's not a fun match, so I was like, all right, Lily Mai is going to take out the Immortal Warrior. Dave picked Night Terror hitting
Ariel, because
we came up with it's going to be Ariel getting hit with something at some point. And then David picked out the artwork for Downriver Lock, which was Gia putting. Is that Silver Marvel?
That's Silver Marvel,
yes.
which I was going to ask, what is your beef with Silver Marvel? Why don't you like that guy?
Well,
what did he do to you?
So it was supposed to start off as like kind of, quote unquote tribute card to Sean Taft. Because after, that whole drama happened, he was like, I'm just going to walk away for a while. And then just the outpouring of support for him kind of came out. I'm like, you know what? He kind of came across as a really bad heel, but, kind of turned it around on me. So I'm like, let's just do something to do that. And then when the artwork came in, it was Silver Marvel instead. I'm like, okay, cool. That works for me. So it was less of the fact that I don't hate or want to see him put in the move. It was just,
Okay, so you
more like an homage to have them on a card.
Okay.
Now, I'll straight up say my picks were I hate those characters. Not even gonna lie, I hate those characters.
Yeah, no. The reason for those other cards, yes, we don't want them. They are, and as discussed at length at Grand Gathering, should be injured forever.
The amount of discussion that we had about the injury list and like I'm taking a chance on trying to make it a thing, which is why I'm so agonizingly like upset that I didn't hit EC3, but everyone said EC3 never wins, so he shouldn't be on that list. And Steve even said like EC3 kind of toes the line between above where he should be and below the broken line, quote unquote. So I said, fine, EC3 can rock. But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
EC3 is frustrating to deal with early game, but you can beat it. The few times that I've had to play against Ariel and Immortal, it was legitimately, why did I sit at this table? Why am I bothering? And I play games to play, and with this game, you're telling a story through the cards and the moves and whatnot. Those matchups are just the most for our local play group. It's been the most like unfun. Just you never have a good time. You walk away from the table mad. And so I decided after talking with some other organizers, which included like Kirk Polka and the director, like I got a lot of feedback. And I agonized about this. You can ask David. I stressed really hard about doing this. But everyone said it's your event. Do what you think is right, and then get the feedback from the first event, and then come back for a second event, which I'm planning on doing something after the beatdown. It's not confirmed, but I have something in the work. But I want to see how a field with the injury list works, because it was the hot button issue of the gathering after watching Jeff basically sit Sammy down for 30 minutes, and Sammy just kind of had to sit there and take it. That's not an experience you want to show newer players, because we have a lot of new blood this year. We have a lot of new players that are 1 month, 2 months, a couple of months old into the game that are coming to this create a competitor. And if I were playing an event with an injured list, I'd be happy. It would be frustrating. Like, if I played those characters, it would be frustrating to have to build a new deck. But let's be honest. Most people that play this game at that level can build another deck that will work just as well. It's just you're going to have a different gimmick and your different skill card.
Yeah. Especially in a game that has like
200 competitors.
200 competitors. I don't want to keep going to tournaments and big events and seeing the same 10 competitors used time after time after time.
You mean the Magic problem where it's the same 4 decks at every top table?
Yeah, but at least that kind of like rotates every couple of months, where it's just it's still the same 4 decks. It's just maybe it goes from like mono red to mono blue one time, or mono blue to mono white. With this, there's no rotation, so it's kind of like, okay, we're going to see Ariel every time, we're going to see Immortal every time, we're going to see Vic every time. It's like, okay, well,
and sorry, David.
I with, especially at Origins with that was it 12 competitors that came out.
Like, oh God, it was like 12 or 15.
Like, I want to see at least 8 of them in the field. I don't want to keep seeing same ones that were released like 3 years ago at every event.
And
So,
now to touch
diversity.
on something, we're going to have diversity at the event too, but a lot of people who I'm guessing play some of the characters that are on the injured list were just like, well, why don't you just use stipulation matches and all this? And all I can say is I personally hate playing stipulation matches. And if I have to balance my top cut through basically putting you in an unwinnable match or a match that is going to put the favor like 95% towards your opponent, why? That's not to say we're not going to have stipulations or something where the undefeated get to do something special, because we are. We've got something really, really cool in works, and I think we're stealing from Impact to a degree.
Yeah, but what the ideas they had we kind of liked, so we're gonna kind of try to keep the chain going.
I just don't want to sit there and go, okay, well, EC3 is going to be put in a Ring of Fire match. Good luck.
Yeah.
I personally think this game is best played when it's standard or even main event. I love main event personally because it's the most back and forth game you can get. You always have a chance to kick out. Always. And I think that's some of the coolest memories I've got with this game are main event matches, because you rolled your highest stat on whatever fall was necessary. And it was, everyone jumped up and, you got excited. So it's not to say though, for this event, I'm not going to have, in Top Cut, we'll do a steel cage or a ring of fire or whatever. It could happen. You'll just have to show up and see what happens.
All right. Yeah, for those listening who aren't familiar with this, at your event you have decided to essentially make 4 characters that cannot, say 4 competitors cannot be used. Those 4 are Aerial Lipstick, Immortal Warrior, Vic the Brick. Now we're talking about regular Mortal Warrior and Vic the Brick, not the flip versions, right?
All of them.
Flips. Okay, so you're banning the flips as well.
Yes, we're banning the competitor as a whole and the general manager, John Calais, because it's just for the interest of simplicity. It's nothing biased, because we could have done what other events have done, where when you register the character, you pick your match type, and that's what you're running the whole event.
So I've got a couple questions. Obviously, I understand the aerial as a negative play experience because I've seen it.
I think we all witnessed it at the gathering.
Yeah, we witnessed it at the gathering. I can't say I've seen other times. It's just, especially early games, you roll, power back to back 2 to 3 times.
So I want to tell you a story real quick.
Okay, tell me a story.
Okay, so in the tag tournament at the gathering, myself and David had teamed up, and we played Girthquake round 2, and love those guys. They're super good. They're super cool. But we played them, and they were playing Perfection Aerial. Guess who rolled power, and guess who rolled a 10 on their first turn?
Mm-hmm.
That would be Girthquake.
I rolled a 10, so I lost a card. Aerial rolled a 5. I had no hand on turn 1.
Yeah.
And I sat there for, I think it was like a 20-minute match, and we just sat there just kind of like, well, what do we do? It was legitimately the worst experience I've ever had playing Super Show.
Yeah.
But that's a different argument in terms of like tag balancing and RNG. But Aerial is, everyone says she's not a problem. She's a problem.
She's very, I can tell you, I've got my own Aerial story with a tag. Because when I made the finals at PAX Unplugged in the tag against Joe Ritchie and Kim Riley, and they were playing Aerial Lipstick and Witch Hunter General.
Oh goodness!
Oh man!
So they just played a very simple strategy. They went at me rather than my partner, and just when he rolled his 5 or she rolled her grapple, bury a card. Eventually, they hit a finish. I can't stop anything because I have no hand. And that's all. And that's all she wrote.
Isn't that one of the teams that was in the top cut at the gathering as well? We had Ariel.
So yeah, because they for winning that tournament, they got GM's favor. They were an automatic berth in the top cut. Yeah, and I believe Joe played that with, I can't remember. Did he partner with Everett? I want to say, but because that was Joe's girlfriend, she couldn't be there at the grand gathering. So
there was a lot of Ariel in the tag event.
And
bless the Corys, they tried their hardest to eliminate all the Ariels in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we went at the grand gathering. We went through the cut. I think we played Ariel one time.
Didn't you guys beat Ariel to make the final table?
I don't remember who we beat. I'm not good at remembering.
Yeah, I think you guys ended up beating Ariel. Yeah, it was Ariel Witchener, I think, to make finals.
No, I think that was Big Money. I know I didn't play that. I didn't rematch with Joe Ritchie because I would have remembered rematching with Ritchie. Because he beat me at PAX Unplugged, I would have remembered if I would have remembered if I'd have gotten back on Joe Ritchie. Yeah.
So yeah, I introduced the injured list to get back to the topic to try and make it a more inviting environment and to hopefully promote diversity out of this game having so many competitors, and you're, like David said, you're only seeing a handful of them.
I do have a couple questions the more I can talk about the injury list of
that.
Okay, so number one, and maybe just because I've never seen it in the local or in the big competitive, why Vic the Brit?
So this is off of discussion that I had with Steve and John. We talked, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours cumulatively, about how when they came out that Press Slam, Full Nelson, and 718 didn't exist at the time.
Right.
And if you play the flip version, you can have all three, which is, I understand you're possibly getting rid of stops for those cards. Those cards are great. Those cards are deadly. And if you have access to all three of them, it's a lot.
So is that the reason why you decided to ban the flip version so they could not play all three?
I decided to ban both of them because the original versions have 2 gimmicks. And with a discussion that I had with Steve as well was they do a lot of stuff that 99% of the cast can't do by having 2 gimmicks. And they have so much recursion, and it was a lot of discussion with Steve about like game theory and like the way the game was back then versus the way the game is now. And it's not something I did lately because I could care less about certain things, but having to deal with, reveal and bury a follow-up to draw 2, and then he rolls agility, so he gets to just pick up a card, even though your opponent gets 2. Okay. They do a lot of stuff that others can't do. So in the interest of, because everyone was like, well, why did you ban Vic? And because nobody plays Vic, I'm like, if I didn't ban Vic, but I banned Immortal, you all would run to Vic. Let's be honest. You would just run to Vic and do the same thing.
I think they run EC3, but that's just me.
I am still kicking myself about EC3.
That'll be fine.
EC3, now I've talked about this before. The thing with EC3 that bothers me is the idea that the original EC splash printing is still legal.
I agree. I have been a fan. So that's one thing other games do well is most recent printing is the way you play it.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly agree that the original EC Splash shouldn't be.
Yeah, because at Origins, I lost to Underworld second round against Kurt Polka because he EC splashed me turn 1.
No, it's very, because I believe I was reading in the SRG Discord about a version of Cravat that was sold that has different text than the actual one. how do you explain to somebody that if they have that version of cravat, it's not legal?
Well, I think it is legal.
I didn't follow too closely.
I think anything that's printed is technically legal. That's why the EC Splash is legal.
Yeah, that's the way the game works. Is if it's on a card, it's legal.
Yeah.
But the thing with the cravat was, I guess it's printed differently, and it has an effect that's way too good for the slot that nothing else has. So that it was pulled from the binder, I guess. It's what I was reading is it was sold on accident. And then I think they realized it and they pulled it from the binder, but it was too late. One already got out. So
just one in the world. All
right. I think so.
That's probably easier to control.
Yeah, I'm with you though on the EC Splash should be. Yeah, there are certain things in the old version of the game that I feel should be updated to the 2019 version. That's one of them.
I just look at that card and say, okay, if it's too good to keep making, why is it still legal that it's out there? I just don't understand. If you've already said, well, this is bad, not anymore, why do you let people still play it? I thought that's something I always look at and say that makes no sense. If you're gonna change the text of the card because it's bad for the game, then it's bad for the game. Period.
It sounds like something we should bring up at the gathering too during the Q&A.
Maybe we will.
I think it's something we should. I think the dialogue can be opened because we learn. At the gathering we learned like how receptive everybody is to discussion and criticism about certain things. I mean, by that note, you can look at, is it D2? The old D2 is vastly different than the newer D2.
I think the difference is the stats are different, but isn't the gimmick the same?
I think the stats being different is what makes it that good.
I mean, is it just you can play things with that version, and you can't play with the new version?
I think it has a different submission too. I don't really know because I'm relatively new in the terms of like the big scope of the game.
I think I've seen it, but I never really paid attention to what the stats were. I mean, unless it's got like 2 10s or something, then I mean it should. I mean, the numbers are the numbers. I mean, if there's, could you play? Is it that you can play something you normally couldn't play?
I think so.
I mean, maybe that's a big deal. That to me is such a minor thing. I wouldn't even worry about it. But you might say, you might say the same thing. Well, EC Splash is just like one sentence.
It's one sentence that can end a game.
Probably not even a whole sentence, just part of a sentence. But yeah, but like it's a turn one win. I mean, there are other people that have a turn one win, but it's a little more,
Merlin von Berlin, for example.
Merlin Berlin,
Johnny Super Show,
Kid Fresh,
yeah, buddy.
I've attempted with a who was the one Tiki Twins.
Yeah.
Tiki Twins called the crowd and shocked people because they weren't expecting it.
I was gonna say Tiki Twins with called the crowd let you play 2 cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you go lead, follow up, finish.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Tiki Twins. I was surprised to see any people play Tiki Twins in trios, but once I saw double death drop lets you basically make your I think it makes you add. I believe you're adding 12 to your. Is it 2 lowest?
Yeah, it's 12 to your 2 lowest, which becomes 4.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's silly.
Yeah.
You get plus 12 to your 4 lowest, and your opponent buries 6 if you have a table. If I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah, because with Tiki Twins you would double. So.
That's insane.
Yeah, so you're figuring I got a 30. I think somebody told me they were playing that combination. I think their lowest skill was like I forget what it was. It was like a 31 was like their no. And it like bumped up their bottom like 30. It was ridiculous. This made it so strong. But so we'll see. I wonder. I know there's been talk about with the tag and trios eventually when the pool gets big enough, going straight one card,
Yeah.
which I think that would radically change Tornado Tag. I think it would.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it would make the game a lot different. We'll see. I'm glad we are catching up with tags. Which will there ever be a Downriver Boys tag card?
That's the goal.
That's the goal. If you win your own event, are you going to make the Downriver Boys tag team?
I'm not playing in my own event, so I have no
Okay.
comment.
I don't know. I've got offers for different things and my own idea kicking in my head, so
Okay, just asking.
Maybe next Kickstarter, if they go crazy and offer 30-something slots again, maybe we will make it happen.
I'd be shocked it happened, but I could. But
I mean, if they need tag competitors, that's a good way to do it.
That is a good way to do it. Maybe what they do is they say, okay, if you buy this slot, it's I don't know. I don't want.
They could in theory say, all right, this tier of Kickstarter reward is to create a tag competitor, and this tier is to create a singles.
Yeah.
But to touch on what you had asked, if I were playing and if I won, no, I would not be creating Downriver Boys. I have a character already sketched out. I have everything for it. It is ready to go. I just have to get the slot.
Cool. Yeah, I've got 2 artwork things I need to get readjusted, and then I should be good to go. I don't know if I'll be out by Gen Con. It depends on how soon I get done wanting to get done. I'm trying to think, is there anything else on? Talked about the ban list.
And we can talk about the actual card that we have to spoil.
Sure, yeah. If you would like, yeah, sure. If you'd like to talk about the Shining Wizard, the finished strike number 28 features.
Let me pull it up real quick because I want to make sure I get the wording correctly.
It features
Lily May
kicking
Immortal Warrior
in the face.
He deserves it. So it is Shining Wizard, finish strike number 28. Your power and agility are +1 for each card you have in play with head or knee in the name.
Oh, okay.
That was Steve, because Steve and I both love strong style wrestling, and he wanted something to kind of make characters who use those keywords better, and I was all for it. And I do think it captures the essence of what a Shining Wizard is. You are running knee, thigh first at somebody's head. And like a leg lariat type move. So I feel like that encompasses the move very well. And even early game, it's strong. Late game, though, that's a knockout blow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's not skill requirement. The original version I had come up with was going to be a skill requirement. Because I wanted to create finishers for the skills that didn't have skill requirement finishers yet. And then we went back and forth and we talked about how Shining Wizard isn't really... It's not a move that needs a skill requirement. Anybody could do it. So I dropped the skill requirement from it.
Okay.
And we came up with the Shining Wizard. And it's finally generic. And I could play it in every deck if I wanted to, which I won't. It's going to sit in one deck specifically. And I'm very, very happy it's coming out.
So by itself, it has no bonuses. You have to have other cards in play to have any bonuses.
Yes, you will need cards with head or knee in the name to give it any kind of bonuses.
So, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Headlock, working on the knee to the face.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, it's too early in the morning for my brain to start rattling off all the cards.
Head drop driver would do it.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Trying to think of another. The headlock, snap headlock. That's basically the same slot.
Charging headbutt.
Charging head, yeah, the headbutt would work. Yep.
There's a lot of good cards and
there
characters.
There are a few cards, yeah.
Characters that would be using this card are probably already built to be using the most efficient heads and knee cards.
Yeah.
So I think it will slot in nicely.
Yeah. I think if Simon's Al Snow concept ever comes out, I can see this.
Let's see, a quick scour of a certain website that is in the community shows me a lot of really good options for head. Like you've got head punch, snap headbutt, slam suplex, head breaker drop, headlock kick.
Yeah, that's a 24 slot. Yeah, that's a
head grab number 2, one of my favorite cards out of recent the recent stuff.
There's quite a lot of more head cards than I thought.
Yeah, and then like you said, reverse head drop driver.
Reverse head drop's a good one.
Oh yeah, that card. Call to the crowd with that. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Headshot, overhead suplex. Like there are a lot of options that you probably don't think about.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit stronger than I was thinking. But yeah. So Shining Wizard, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first. A spoiler for the last card, the last promo. So wow, I think you might be the only, or at least you're the first set where where the promos are all finishes except for the entrance card.
Yep, and that was by design.
Yeah.
Because we noticed a kind of a big lack of generic finishers in the game.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we're like, hey, let's just throw 3 into the pool and see what sticks.
Yeah, I've thought that myself as a distinct lack of generic finishers.
Saying there's probably 10 overall right now.
There's more than that because there's at least 10 with the strikes alone.
Okay.
I mean, you've got I think there's 3 DQ finishers.
Yeah, I run Anarchy's Son, so I've got shovel and trash can.
Yeah, there's
and then there's loaded gut punch.
Also. Yeah, you've got the 2 top rope flying drops, the elbow and the headband. Death by elbow. Of course, all the table ladder, the TLC ones are all generics.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Death Drop and Filibuster, Jackknife.
We just wanted to add to the pool.
And that's good. I'm still waiting, and maybe at some point, if I may have to create this myself. I'm still shocked there's no moonsault in the game.
That is surprising.
Yeah, there's no. I didn't think there was a senton until somebody pointed out that there's senton splash, which is one of the generic finishers. But yeah, like I said, there's no snapmare in the game.
I personally want to see cards created that work off of things like Irish Whip or Drag to the Center. Like, for example, Drag to the Center and create Moonsault, and maybe it could be if this card is flipped by Drag to the Center, you play it. You know, like good old-fashioned chain wrestling cards.
Okay.
I've been kicking that one around for a while, but that's a lot of... How do you balance something like that?
I mean...
But it's food for thought. It's something I've kicked around for a while.
So are you saying if you play Drag to the Center, are you saying if you flip add to your hand? I think that would be really I could be very balanced.
It could be like that, or for example, like off of an Irish Whip, usually you see something like a drop kick or a lariat,
right?
So maybe create one that if this card is flipped by Irish Whip, play it and draw a card or something. Something that rewards you for basic wrestling moves.
I don't know. The only thing I can see negative is I don't know if they want to put a lot of cards in the game where you're playing multiple cards.
No, they don't. I talked to Steve about it once, and he was like, that's a cool idea, but that would get really out of control really fast. And I totally agree, but I would love to see something where because you don't see a lot of people playing Irish Whip Drag to the Center or the other one.
No, to be fair, and we've talked about this a bunch on the show. There are certain card slots where it's almost like, unless you're going for something in particular, you just play this and that's it. I mean, 25 through 27, you're either playing a stop in or your stop finish. It's very rare to see you play something like a blatant chokehold, low blow.
Yep.
Yeah, you would not. 1 through 6, you're playing the stop, any lead or follow up. Maybe you switch one out, but for the most part, you're stop heavy in those slots. Stop heavy in the 13 through 15. Stop heavy in the 10 through 12. At 10 through 12, to me, it's still charging headbutt, Russian legs, side chin lock.
Yep.
Unless,
gimmick. Like Lily Mai, I run 3 back kicks.
Yeah, unless something like gimmick, you're trying to trigger off a keyword or something. There are good cards in that slot. It's just hard to argue that those aren't the best slot in almost any. But thank you guys for spoiling this Shining Wizard. So, next week, July 13th, looking at a 1 p.m. start time.
Yes, sir.
Our House Games in Monroe.
Yeah, Our House Games in Monroe, Michigan. At this point, the link to pre-register is closed.
It is closed, but if you contact myself, if you contact David, or you contact Erica Brandstetter, who is the manager of the store, we'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah, and we've actually been getting surprised. The tournament has been getting a little bit bigger the last couple of days. So.
I think we had about 10 entries yesterday alone, which is crazy.
I know I didn't enter till, I hope it took it, but I know I didn't.
No, it took it. You're good.
Okay,
you're good.
Yeah.
We are doing deck lists. You will have to write down your deck and submit it to me. I will not be using that information for anything other than to make sure everyone's on the up and up.
So you're going to need to have listed, obviously, your competitor. Obviously, all 30 cards.
Yep, competitor, all 30 cards. Your entrance or entrances if you're playing the boss. What faction you pick, if it's Newman or Valiant, and what spectacles you are playing.
So you actually want a spectacle list, Newman or Valiant is not.
Yes, you will have to pick your faction, and I really hope I don't have to go and inspect everybody's cards. I'm going to trust that people have them, in their deck box. It's not going to be opening the binder to pull up the card they want.
When it comes to spectacles, as long as you specify Newman or
Valiant,
I don't know why you wouldn't just have every spectacle you have sitting on the table.
Yeah, but we know some people might, play a Valiant after they claimed Newman. Kind of
right,
thing.
but what I'm saying is once you've written down Newman, that's if you throw down a Valiant, it's got Newman on your sheet.
Yeah.
No, if you want them to list out, that's fine.
I would like it to be, but I'm sure we will have discussion about it over the week.
I'm just saying, I think it would be incredibly foolish when you have all the cards there to be like, oh, let me slip a card. If I'm playing Newman, I forgot. Let me pull out a situational Newman. I'm like, have a situational Newman on the table.
Yeah, just put them on your deck box. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
just slip them in your deck box. That way, it's all nice there and in front of you, and you're ready to go.
Yep. I think I've been told put them under the competitor card. That's usually what I do.
Yeah, I set mine off my playmat to the side face down.
Yeah. Same.
I have a very neat play space.
Yeah.
So, yep, deck list. You will have to list your entrance or entrances. If you're Newman or Valiant, your 30 cards. Entrances will have to be signed, but it's not like we can't get that taken care of. Spectacles, correct, not entrances. My bad. Not enough coffee in me yet. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. Like I said at the beginning of the show, hopefully people will want to stick around and sling some casual games. We're going to try and get Fight for the Fallen on. Maybe dinner after the event, because there's a lot of really good local eateries around the store.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a good event and get your practice in for Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, since I'll go ahead and ask this now. Do you have a count of how many have pre-registered at this point?
As of right now, we have, let me click the link real quick because I have it up. We, as of last night at 12:01 a.m., we have 37 entries.
Wow. So with a week to go, you're almost have as many people signed up as Rust Belt.
If we beat Rust Belt, there is a surprise in store. And I am hopefully optimistic we can do it. And I'm also scared that we do it. Because that surprise is involving me and something painful.
Don't do that.
Oh no, it's going to be worth it. It's worth it because
Is it?
it's wrestling related.
Do it for the kids.
Oh, I'm doing it for the kids.
What do you? Is he hitting you with the kendo stick? It's a picture in the strong style.
No, I'm going through a
card?
table.
Don't go through.
I want to go through a table. If we can beat Rust Belt, I will go through a table.
Willingly.
Willingly.
Pick an easy table. Go through a multiplication table. just start with one. Start with 1 times 1 and go as high as possible.
Just work them.
Just work them.
Oh god, that's great.
But yes, that was the goal that I had told David. If we could beat Rust Belt, I would do it. Because I guess Rust Belt, that the director just kind of did a little dance, and I thought that was weak. And I love the director to death, and I have a ton of respect for him, but that's not wrestling. Come on now.
You've seen WWE, that's some wrestling.
Right.
Wowie wowie.
I mean, I still remember Great Khali singing Shawn Michaels' theme music.
Oh gosh. So yeah, with 6 days to go, we're at 37, which is more than I could have asked for, and I'm very grateful and appreciative that everyone's coming to the event, and it's going to be fun. I've got a great team behind me. I've got David. I've got Erica, who is store manager. I've got some people from Ohio that are coming just to help me, run everything smooth. They're not playing. They're just there to make sure it goes smoothly, which is super incredible. This game has the greatest community I've ever been involved in. And for a first-time event, I've never run a big event like this for any game. So I'm excited to see what good storylines we get coming out of this, going into Gen Con. I mean, we've got the feud between Damian Thorne and James Hand already kind of boiling over. This is just going to be a great day of Super Show and friends and one big crazy family, right?
Yeah, I can tell you I'm definitely looking forward to it. That, again, next Saturday, July 13th, 1 p.m. Or show up early. What time does the store open?
The store opens, I believe, at noon. Let me check real quick. Because
so you can show up as early as noon if you want.
I'm gonna try and get the store to open a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So that way we can, get your games in, get your deck list done. Saturday opens at noon. I'm gonna see if we can get an 11. Don't quote that. I'm gonna try for an 11 a.m. start for opening.
Yeah.
And if I can, I will post it.
Yeah. So watch that posting, see if it's open. Oh, deck list. If you go to Facebook group, SRG Super Show Discussion Group, there should be a file where you can download a paper to write up your deck list.
If you can't print it off, we will have them on site.
Yeah. Probably just a little easier for them if you've got it written out already. If not, go ahead and fill it out on site. I'm sure they'll make changes prior to turning it in.
Well, people might be trying to slot in those brand new promo cards.
They very well. You might see someone could win with the Shining Wizard or Downriver Lock.
I would legit scream at the top of my lungs if Shining Wizard wins the event.
It could be. Yeah. Crowd Meter 5, Shining Wizard.
Oh man, I anticipate we will see Downriver Lock. We will see a healthy amount of Downriver Lock.
Yeah, I think Downriver Lock for sure you'll definitely see.
Well, I can guarantee it's already in my deck.
Well, there's that.
And I think our entrance card, it'll make a splash. If I were playing, I would be running it instead of director like I normally run. It's going to be a good time. I'm really excited to see everybody, shake hands. I haven't seen a lot of the people that are coming since the gathering, so it's going to be really nice to catch up.
Yeah. Are you guys doing bullet rounds, or are you going to do a
So the way I'm doing it is we're going to do Swiss through PC pairing.
Okay.
Except the first round, this is what I've been teasing. I may pair James Hand and Damian Thorne in the first round, just because some people like to watch the world burn. And they've had this back and forth where they just want to kill each other. So I might do it first round just to see what happens.
Yeah, give them a little taste for each other before Gen Con.
Yeah, it's not something set in stone. I'm debating it. Otherwise, it'll be PC pairing for Swiss. After Swiss and diversity play in. I like what Calais said on Talk of the Universe last week about diversity players, and if there's a lot of 3 and 2s or 4 and 2s or whatever that cut line is, you're gonna fight for your spot. I hate strength of schedule. I would rather fight for my life than let some computer program with some algorithm decide I got in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing play-ins for any cuts in diversity. If it's, if both EC3s, for example, are 3 and 3, and 3 and 3 is the number, they're gonna fight in. It'll be the best EC3 gets in.
All right.
And then we have a surprise for Top Cut. We haven't revealed that yet. We're gonna let that be the big reveal at the event. So stay on your toes.
Yeah.
And then I think we came to the agreement that the finals are going to be main event.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that always a solid choice.
And that will be 2 out of 3 falls main event.
Oh, that is a twist.
Well, the way they did it at Rust Belt was they did normal, and if it got to third fall, it was going to be main event. Nah, all 3 are going to be main event.
Okay, so what question I have for you on your 2 out of 3 falls? After the first fall, do both players start fresh with a new match?
It'll be a straight up shuffle your deck and start again.
Okay.
Your spectacle will reset, your entrance card will reset, and it'll be a whole new game.
Okay. Well, I was just curious about that.
I think that's the most fair way to do it, and with this being such a now coveted prize in the universe, with it being Create a Competitor, I want it to be, and as much as the dice have a play in it, I want it to be the best player at that time. Like, everything fell into place the right way. None of this like, oh, it's the third fall and I've only got 3 cards left and I just chained all 3 together. I want it to be the best possible 3 games that we can get in the finals.
All right.
And don't let Sean win. I love you, Sean, but I can't let you win back-to-back CACs.
All right.
I love you, Sean.
He hadn't won back-to-back CACs because
well, he won Rust Belt.
I know, but there's been one in between. So
okay, I'm saying back-to-back in terms of enters 2.
I'm just messing with you.
I mean, he's beaten the boss once. He'd do it again.
Well, I think that's going to be it, gentlemen. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Schmidt and Anthony Haapapuro. The gentlemen, thank you. If you're interested in going to DCW Presents Downriver Beat Down, again, it's at Our House Gaming in Monroe, Michigan. Show up at 1 p.m. or reach out and just pay at the door, $40, or contact either of these 2 gentlemen or the store manager and see if they can work. Please tune in. This should be coming out at the and our normal show will be coming out. Should be coming out at a regular time. So look for the regular episode. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
So for I guess just myself today. Thank you and good day.